Today, let us talk about the healing power of joy and how most models of traditional psychotherapy do not do enough justice to this very important ingredient in healing. Welcome to Jazz Therapy. I'm Jessie, a licensed marriage and family therapist and passionate lover of jazz. In today's video, I'm going to talk about joy and how important it is in healing, how important it's been in my healing journey, and how you can get more of it in your life if you're in psychotherapy or not. Finally, I will leave you with a wonderful jazz song guaranteed to help you feel more joy from this beautiful art form of jazz, which was created by Black Americans and which I consider to be the finest music in the world. So let's get going. I have been trained as a psychotherapist in psychoanalytic depth-oriented therapy. Now, this is a model of therapy that really emphasizes getting at the true roots of suffering. So we look at the unconscious, which is basically an umbrella term for all of the parts of ourselves that we don't know about. This can include the collective unconscious, which contains symbols and forms that are inherent in all cultures around the world. We look at family of origin conditioning. We look at the relationship that transpires between the therapist and the client, cultural and societal factors, as well as dreams and synchronicities, among other things. I feel this is a very rich model within to work and understand ourselves and the depth of a human psyche. However, in many years of my own psychoanalytic therapy that I went to as a patient, I often felt that I was kind of stuck in a negative place talking about what happened to me as a child, different traumas that I went through. There was a lot of emphasis on everything that was wrong. It was kind of going over and analyzing and understanding things. However, it was just a lot of sometimes overemphasis on all of the negativity. And it wasn't until I worked with a spiritual teacher who was also a psychotherapist who really helped me understand the inherent power of joy. Now, let me talk more about this. I really had some areas in my life where I was stuck. And in addition to helping me process and heal some traumas that I did not think was possible, this spiritual teacher and therapist really helped me understand that in addition to processing all of the difficult, challenging, painful material, I had to counterbalance that with joy and light. And I think there was a while that I was so bogged down in negativity and sort of almost a victimhood mentality of all the things that had happened to me that I wasn't really open to joy for many years in my life. So I do want to emphasize that if you're going through a hard time and it's hard to even relate to this message or think, how can I have more joy? There is hope, because if I can come out of my martyr or victimhood mentality, you absolutely can too. Now, one thing that has been very helpful in my journey is really understanding and focusing on the fact that I was going to be the one responsible for bringing myself more joy and happiness. So I did start a podcast. I started this channel, Jazz Therapy, because jazz is something that has always been a huge source of passion, of inspiration, and it's absolutely something I need like oxygen. And even though I'm not sure what direction this will go in, every single time I do a video or create a podcast or create something, I feel a little spark of joy, even if it's just for myself. So as you are working on yourself in your own healing journey, I want you to think about what are true things that bring you sources of happiness and joy. It could be creating in some way, such as some kind of an artistic project, cooking, working in the yard. It could be volunteering, being of service. You might start to think about what brought you joy as a child or at different points in your life when you were really able to tap in and access that. If you're feeling like it's hard to even kind of get started on that, maybe even schedule a time when you're going to spend 30 minutes just creating or doing something that brings you some joy. You will soon find that you want to do more of this because you are feeling so good. Also, if you notice in your own psychotherapy that you're kind of stuck just only focusing or talking about the negative, that could be something to bring up with your therapist or reflect on individually and think about what is the part of me inside or parts that are resistant to letting myself have more joy. I know for myself, I have a little goblin inside that can get very resentful and critical and negative and sort of can just want to sack out like all of the joy that I have. And so I have to work with this part of myself and really override that. And I find that when I do go create, especially with jazz, that I just feel so much more enlivened. So explore this within yourself and know that you are not alone, and the healing power of joy will soon be able to work its magic, because we need as much light as we do dark to be able to sort of sustain ourselves and go forward on the healing journey. All right, well, let's get to the jazz. Today I have a song that is a Count Basie ballad. It is from his album April in Paris, recorded in 1956, released in 1957. And I first learned of this song from the jazz blog Jazz Wax, which is an incredible treasure trove of all things jazz, so subscribe to it. Now, the song is Corner Pocket. Now, this is a beautiful big band song. We hear vibrant horns, incredible sax solos, and I guarantee you will listen to this song and feel an extra pep in your step. It is literally joy personified in this song. I'll put a link in the description box. Corner Pocket by Count Basie. I would put this song in the category of emotional elevation and emotional galvanization. Now, I created 9 different categories of emotional listening to help us reflect and categorize different songs, and you can find these on my website at jazztherapy.com. So leave me a comment, let me know what category you think this goes into and what you feel as you're hearing this. For me, when I hear this song, I want to start dancing around my kitchen or wherever I am, and I can just feel if there is any kind of negativity inside, or I'm just, hooked on something, ruminating on something someone said or did or that I did, etc. I can see that and just let it go, because the ebullience of the music will do it. So check it out. May jazz therapy soothe your soul.